What's up, everybody? It's Maymoney back again, this time talking about The Walking Dead. So, just a couple updates on this week and my videos in general. I didn't do a review last week for The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 11, Hostiles and Calamities, because it just slipped my mind. I don't know why. I guess I was just really busy this week starting a new job. So, I just, didn't have time to get down to it, and I didn't like the footage that I caught for my reaction video this week for, Say Yes. So, what I decided that I was going to do, because I don't want to put out, an ingenuine reaction for, record it and try to get it better, even though it's not genuine, I'm just going to go ahead and combine the reviews and skip the reaction for this week for Say Yes. Unfortunately, it just wasn't good, and I didn't really want to bother with it because it takes a long time to edit those videos and everything, and I didn't really feel like bothering with a video that I didn't really like. So I'm just going to talk about The Walking Dead this week. So yeah, hopefully that's okay with you guys. I'm sorry. Next week we'll definitely be back on the regular schedule, with the Carol episode. I'm going to have a reaction and a review as normal. So yeah, let's just get right into it, shall we? So last week's episode, Hostiles and Calamities, we're just going to go over that a little bit. Overall, I thought the episode was okay. It served its purpose. I liked it. I thought there were really great moments in it that I did enjoy. But it wasn't my favorite episode of all time. But it did have moments that I really liked. So basically Negan, he comes back to, back home, back to the Savior's compound, or what's it called? The Sanctuary. He comes back and sees that, I guess Fat Joey's dead. Daryl's gone. It's pretty much just a shit show that he comes back to after the shit show that just occurred with Rosita trying to shoot him and Carl trying to kill his men. So it just hasn't been going well the past 2 days for Negan. Oh, well, that's what you get for being an asshole. Shit comes back to you, right? So, yeah, and Eugene is taken hostage. So that's just the basis of this episode, pretty much. We have Eugene, who is initially, really, really terrified at the whole situation. But here's actually I think my favorite part of this episode. I guess we'll just hop right into it. Right when Eugene gets there, he gets showed around a little bit, gets his room, and he comes back out and talks to Negan. And Negan's pretty much just assessing him a little bit about if he's actually a smart guy, if he's actually going to be helpful to them, or if he should keep him around or kill him, kind of thing. And we see, what I love is we see Eugene use his survival skills that he learned from Abraham, his experience with Abraham. We get Abraham callbacks. So that's what I really, 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 really liked about this. Because Abraham was one of my favorite characters, and we just got to see callbacks to him in this episode, especially when he was saying I used to work with the Human Genome Project, fight fire with fire. And he suggested to put scrap metal over the walker's head to keep them from decomposing as fast and keeping them held together, which we saw in one of the episodes where they find the bullet factory and Eugene calls dibs on the metalhead walker, and he's not able to kill it, and then they get into a whole fight about it, a brotherly fight. And actually that's when they meet Dwight and everything. So we got a call back to that episode, and we also got, just he's lying to seem useful, but this time instead of lying to people that he cares about, he's lying to somebody that, first of all killed. It's kind of weird because Abraham, he's using, it's kind of an extra fuck you, using his brothers, Abraham, who was killed by Negan, using that guy and what he taught Eugene against Negan, who was the person that killed him. So I just love how that kind of all came together. And so I think that Abraham is going to really help Eugene, like, be Negan's undoing in a way. He's going to play a role. He's still not, you know, he's not just completely dead. He still has a part to play in helping our survivors win. So I loved that. That was my favorite part of the episode, hands down, completely. But we have another different kind of storyline going on with Dwight. So I predicted that Dwight released Daryl, or like let him go. I thought that he did, because I didn't think that Sherry had the ability to grab a motorcycle key. I didn't know exactly what she would be able to do and to, you know, do in the Savior's compound, but apparently she did, so I was wrong. And Dwight, you know, finds out. He goes and looks and finds that Daryl's stuff is in his room, and he's like, fuck, so he has to clean up, and they come in and start wailing on him. Negan throws him in the cell that Daryl was in for the night, and yeah, I guess Dwight's just in a bad way. And he finds out that Sherry is missing. Negan is like, oh, well, where's one of my wives is gone, and like Dwight's like, I always get them, I always can never like say their names. Anyway, but Dwight's like, fuck, now Sherry's missing too, and Negan pretty much tells Dwight, go find her, bring her back. And so that's exactly what he does. And I really like the moment when he's in the house, kind of remembering, or he finds a letter from her talking about his bad memory and everything, and like, but I think Dwight does remember. He just kind of has to choose not to, in a way. You know, maybe he does not remember everything, but he does remember, you know, a lot of the good times, how it's hard not to, especially in the situation that he's in. So you just kind of like feel a little bit bad for him. You know, there's a nice picture of them two like together, and she leaves their wedding bands and leaves her rings and everything. And he brings a beer and pretzel. So it's a nice moment to see that Dwight and Sherry did have a really, really good relationship before everything went down the way that it did. And it makes you feel like a little bit sorry for him. So I really liked that moment too. I thought that was like one of my other like moments that I did like in this episode. Everything else was just kind of like, you know, what happened. It helped move the story forward. We know what's going on in the Savior's compound. We know what's going on with Eugene. He's just covering his ass up so that he can survive and hopefully maybe even start bringing down the Saviors from the inside. Because we saw like there's some women, his wives, they ain't fucking with Negan. There are definitely a lot of other people that aren't fucking with him and his rules. So I think they're going to be able to start a resistance within the Savior's compound, which would make a lot of sense. That's like your last army, pretty much. And I just like how Dwight has his storytelling is starting to become very complex, because we still don't know whether or not he's going to start the resistance with Eugene, but it's starting to look that way. And he also frames the doctor to help protect Sherry so that nobody will go looking for her anymore. You know, hopefully she can survive. If she's not, if she's dead, whatever it may be. He's just trying to, like, you know, he sacrificed the doctor, the good old doctor, and was like, well, doctor, you gotta go, because somebody's gonna have to take the fall for Sherry, and it's not gonna be him, and it ain't gonna be Sherry either. So doctor got his whole half of his body burnt off. That was a cool part. And towards the end, you know, we see Eugene really starting to like use his power and use his position that Negan has granted him, you know, kind of towards his advantage. And it left a lot of people thinking, like, questioning whether or not he was going to be on the dark side or on the good side. So let's go into some prediction questions and all that good stuff. So I think, first of all, Negan thinks that it's okay to replace the good old doctor with Eugene. So how long will Eugene be able to keep up this charade that he's useful? So that's an interesting thing that we're gonna have to see play out, because Eugene is just lying. He's just bullshitting. how long do you think that's going to last? And also, do you think that maybe, since he is the doctor, maybe he'll start fucking killing saviors, trying to like pick them off, you know, giving them wrong medicine, they die in their sleep, or be like, oh no, they weren't salvageable, I couldn't save him, sorry Negan, you know, I tried my best, this and that. Maybe he can still like use that to his advantage and start kind of slowly picking off saviors because he's the doctor. That would be interesting. So just how long do you think Eugene's going to be able to keep up this charade that he's an actual doctor? And what do you guys think? I think Eugene was a meth maker before, because he knows how to make bullets and he knows how to make fucking crazy homemade medicine. Anyway, but yeah. So Dwight and Eugene were talking at the end. Do you think that they're going to join together and start a resistance within the Savior's compound? That's another question that, you know, I've been asking throughout the video. And do you think Sherry's still alive? And if so, will she play a role in this resistance? Do you think she's going to meet up with another group, maybe meet up with somebody else, maybe meet up with Daryl or Rick and be able to help them? Because we know she's not with Negan about that Negan life neither. Maybe she'll come in handy later, or do you guys think she's just done for? So yeah, that's all I really got to say about that episode. Let me know what you guys thought about it. Answer the questions. You know, I just thought the episode was okay, and I saw the purpose of it. There were moments that I did really like, and yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say about it. So yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. So let's move on over to Say Yes. All right, so now we're gonna go into Say Yes. This is The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 12, entitled Say Yes. Now, this episode I loved. I really, really had fun with it. I thought it was a fun episode. It wasn't like crazy intense or anything like that. But, you know, it's good to see different types of episode in The Walking Dead besides something bleak and depressing. And there were still some action scenes in it. We still saw walkers. We still saw blood and guts and everything. So yeah, I had fun with it. My reaction video, I wish you guys could see, but I'm really not down to put that up. It was just kind of a mess. I was just like I just didn't like it. So we're just gonna forget about that. But I did enjoy it, just so you guys know. But yeah, overall fun. I love the great moments with Rick and Michonne. We got to see their relationship kind of develop a little bit more, see them together more, which was good. And we finally got to move on to Tara. Maybe he's going to reveal the ocean side, which I've just been waiting for the whole time ever since we saw them. So like finally we're starting to get to move towards that because it's about time. So we have Rick and Michonne. It's a Rick and Michonne based episode. And it was pretty much just like an apocalyptic vacation for them, or apocalyptic honeymoon, or whatever it is you want to call it. But I just thought that was funny because they were just out, you know, collecting supplies, getting it in every now and again, you know, just having a good time together, enjoying each other's company. And Rick doesn't want to go back. He wants to enjoy these good moments for a little bit longer before he goes back and starts a war. 1 second. So we just see them searching for supplies and guns and having a good time, you know. They run into a group of saviors who were shooting golf, and I thought they were going to have savior problems this episode, but they just stole their shit. Great. I love to see that. And I just love like how they were just like, it was just showing the relationship development between the two and like how great they work together. So and they also, I liked the part where they were like discussing what they're gonna do when the threat of Negan is actually gone, how they're gonna lead, how it's gonna shoot, like Michonne said, like Rick should be the one to lead everybody, or maybe start to like develop like trade between all the different communities that they have, maybe try to make it like a different world. But Rick says like he wants them both to do it together. So I really liked that. And I really liked the moment also when there was that like little fake out Rick's death. It wasn't like a fake out. It was like, cause I definitely knew that Rick wasn't fucking dead. It was definitely the deer, but I just liked how Michonne, and we got to see how Michonne would react to that, you know, everything was going so well, and she thinks that Rick's being eaten right there, and she just kind of like loses it. We see her whole like world just start shutting down, and she doesn't want to live anymore. She just is like, well, fuck this. Like, if he's gone, then I'm gone. And that was just really like, wow, like really kind of intense and deep. And we see her like, it takes her a little bit to shake that off. Like, they have to like talk about it at the end, which we'll get into a little bit later. But well, I guess we'll talk about it now. So we have that moment where they're in the car and Michonne is just looking out the window, just like really bothered by how she almost gave up, you know, when she thought that Rick was dead. And so Rick kind of addresses that, and he says like how he hasn't been sleeping, how he's been thinking about his friends and how much they've gone through, and how he gets that it's hard for them to like be happy now, because it is like it's hard for them to really like see any hope and everything. And so he hasn't been sleeping, having nightmares, whatever it may be. And he was talking about how he, like, Glenn saved his life and he wasn't able to save Glenn, and that just broke my heart, first of all. And we saw a lot of like Glenn little callbacks. We saw like the armor, the like riot gear. We saw him come up through the sunroof of that car, the same way he did through the tank in episode like 2 or 3. We saw him just kind of mention Glenn and Maggie and the baby, and you know, there was a lot of Glenn callbacks in there. There were more, but I can't remember at the moment. But yeah, stuff like that. And I just really enjoyed that. I thought that was nice. And I like how, like, in the episode before that, we got some Abraham callbacks, and now in this one, we got some Glenn callbacks. So they're still very present, even though they're not alive in the show. They still have they're very present in the show. And I think for the next episode, we're gonna even still continue that. So like, and that kind of made me think about like how whatever Scott Gimple or whatever is saying, like, for the cliffhanger that they left us on, is that the deaths were actually starting a new chapter. That's why they didn't put it in the season 6 finale, and I'm starting to understand and get that more, because their deaths are really the catalyst of this whole season. And like, they're still very, very relevant, even though they're not alive. So, and I like that. I think that that's pretty interesting. And there's been multiple times where we've had them references to them. So, and I don't think we're done with referring to Glenn and Abraham anytime soon. So I can get what he means by that, especially as the season unfolds. And then we have the say yes moment at the end, which I thought was really funny, where Rick's like, no, we're keeping the cat, we're keeping some of these guns, and we're gonna get you more guns, so don't worry. And I think that the Jadis girl, she's reasonable. So, you know, and honestly, she's right. They need more guns, like more, way more. So I think she's on the right page when it comes to, you know, we need guns for the fight, but we also need guns for ourselves, and you need guns for yourselves too. Like, what the fuck? Like, the Saviors have some serious heat. 63 guns ain't gonna be shit against them. And so yeah, I think that it is a good idea for them to keep looking for more guns. That's a great start, but they still need way more. Dynamite, find all that shit. Find all of it, bring it in. They got some food and everything. They can give some of it to the Saviors, and they can fucking keep, you know, a lot of it, because they found a lot of rations and everything like that. So, let's go into the Rosita, Tara, Sasha kind of episode. It was like only like 10% of this episode, so it's gonna be real quick to talk about. But I was just thinking, like, Tara, first of all, you can't really blame Rosita for having this attitude, even though I'm really annoyed with it, don't get me wrong. But she's been lying to Rosita since she got back about the Oceanside women and how many guns that they have. And Rosita has been going out like all the time since day one looking for fucking weapons, and Tara won't say shit. And she has this attitude, and it could easily subside if she said something about it. And now I think Rosita's gonna fucking go ahead and get herself killed, and Tara is probably gonna regret that. She's probably gonna regret that decision of keeping the secret so long. because people are going out risking their lives to get guns, and somebody's gonna die, and then they're gonna then Tara's gonna be like, oh, I knew a place where the guns were the whole time. So I can see where she's coming from by keeping the secret, but I also can see where it can go really, really bad for one of our characters. But Rosita's just being very reckless and annoying. And I get that she's trying to go out and find guns, which is great. At least she's being active with it. But she goes, gets some guns, and goes over to Sasha. And pretty much they're going to go rogue. And that's just stupid. Let me know what you guys think about that. Their whole rogue mission to go kill Negan. Sasha's going to take the shot. At least we have a fucking 50% better chance of her actually making the shot, because Rosita clearly can't do it. But Sasha is the sharpshooter of the crew. So yeah, give the sniper rifle to the sniper. But that's just a dumb idea. They're gonna fucking blow the plan, get themselves killed, and it's just dumb. So if they're gonna go on a fucking suicide mission, at least don't ruin it for everybody else. So that's just all I can really hope for. Unless maybe Rick or Daryl or somebody intercepts them before they leave. We'll see. I'm not sure. I think one of them's going down for sure. One of them's going to die, though. So let me know what you guys think about that. What's going to happen with Sasha and Rosita. It doesn't look like we're going to see any of that in the next episode because of the previews. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of this episode. It was really just Rick and Michonne just kind of taking a step back, looking for guns and supplies and everything, but, trying to enjoy the moments before they really, start going to war, and which is important, you got to do that. That's why Rick was like, let's just stay a little bit longer, let's just enjoy this a little bit longer, because he knows as soon as he goes back, war is coming. We're going to war, and people are going to die, and they're going to lose people, maybe even each other, so I get where he's coming from. And a lot of reviews, people are like, oh, well, what about Rick, Carl, and Judith? There are people watching them, and he goes on runs all the time. He'd be gone for 4 or 5 days at a time. It's not like hasn't done this before where he's left Carl. Carl can fucking take care of himself. Judith, she's in good hands with Gabriel and Tara, and people are watching him. Carl's still there. So yeah, I get where Rick is like, let's just slow this down. We don't have to go fucking cannonballing into war, which makes sense. You got to be pragmatic about it, and you have to really think and be careful, because people will die and you will lose people, but you have to try to do that in a way where you can minimize casualties. So yeah, predictions and questions for this episode. Say yes. Sasha or Rosita gonna die? Who's gonna die? Both, one, or the other? Let me know what you guys think about that. I'm pretty sure one of them is on their way out. I already know about the Star Trek thing with Sasha, so I guess I get that. Both of them, maybe, but I think I put my money on Sasha. I think. How will the Oceanside arrangement work out? So we finally have the secret out, but we know that they shoot on site. We know that it's not going to be easy convincing them to fight. So I'm just curious to see how that whole thing plays out. Are they going to send in Rick? Are they going to send in Tara? How are they going to get these people to convince them to fight? If they can get in close enough and actually talk, then they might actually convince them to fight with them, because they are in the same boat a little bit when it comes to the Saviors. And all they need is their guns and people, and they have an army behind them, and they can actually seek revenge instead of being in hiding. So we're just going to have to see how that goes out. And I'm actually very interested. I've been interested in these ocean women and their guns since we saw them. So I'm just like, come on, I want to see them fucking band with them. Will Rick, Daryl, or somebody intercept Rosita and Sasha? And if they don't, and one of them dies, how do you think that, will that negatively affect, Rick's plan to fight back? Do you think something's going to happen with that? Hopefully not. Hopefully they just go rogue and it's just them, and he just thinks it's just them. But we'll have to see about that. And just Rosita's purpose in general, I'm just like, what is it? Have we seen really her purpose with her attitude and her recklessness yet? Or are they building up to something? What is it? Because she's just been really, really annoying so far. And what's happening next week with Carol? Is she going to find out about Abraham and Glenn? How is she going to find out? It looks like she's back in action, back to murder Carol. How does that go down? It looks like the Saviors and Ezekiel, they're all kind of like starting to really come to a head where I think Ezekiel will possibly fight back. So will Ezekiel finally break and fight? And how will that happen? What will make him decide to fight back? Hopefully we see that next episode, because I really want everybody to be, we have 2 more groups to convince to fight. Ezekiel, the Kingdom, and the Oceanside. So I want to see that happen like ASAP. So yeah, those are all my questions. That's all I got. Let me know what you guys think about Say Yes. I had fun with this episode. Please comment down below and let's get the conversation started. Sorry about my reaction video this week. Next week, I promise, we'll be back up and running. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Like and subscribe and comment and follow me on other forms of social media. That's where I put my updates about what's going on, if I'm gonna be posting or not, or whatever. And just to get to know me better up in the town, all that good stuff. So yeah, I will definitely see you guys very, very soon. There's no 100 this week, so dang. I guess I'm just gonna have to watch Once Upon a Time because that came back out, and just kind of buy my time until then. So I will definitely see you guys next week for The Walking Dead. Can't wait for this Carol to come back episode. But yeah, until then, I'll see you and talk to me down below. I will definitely be answering all your questions and, you know, getting the conversation started. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this recap and this discussion of these 2 episodes of The Walking Dead, and I will see you very, very soon. Later.